I'm hitting record, but I'll trim the front of this off. That's to make sure I hit record because I have only once in 44 podcasts now, I forgot to hit record. And 20 minutes in, I'm like, "Where's the timer? Where's the counter?" We started over. And she was, gracious about it, but
So this is for real.
this is for real. Meaning
Okay.
what? Yeah.
I thought I was going to hear more about the process, but I'm
Oh,
ready. What are we? I'm
we
not sure
can.
what we're
We
talking
can.
about.
I'll tell you
Let's
what,
chat.
David. We can talk more about the process if you want. That's fine with me.
Um, I, I guess what's the topic, and I'll tell you if I'm prepared.
The topic is you and your business.
Okay.
So that's why we just typically just book these podcasts with guests we want to meet with, just to hear their story. And I've got questions. I do a lead in, basically an intro and an outro. The exiting out of it, and in between the two, I'm just going to ask you questions, and you already know your story. I'm pretty sure. So you tell me if you're ready, and if you're not, we can find another time.
Let's rock.
Yeah.
You don't have to play it if I'm terrible.
We don't. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it'll turn out that way at all. I wouldn't sweat it. This is a low pressure situation. I promise. So, um, how do you pronounce your last name? Just to make sure I have it right.
It's treble, like a tree and a bull.
Okay, I'm glad I asked. That's not how
Treble.
I would have pronounced it. So, okay, perfect. Got this. Cool. And I have a little bit of prep here. It's pretty cool. I punch your information into Chat GPT. I'm like, tell me all about David so I can make sure I introduce him correctly. And it usually gives me a whole lot, and I don't ever like it to be that long because you need to introduce yourself also as we go along. Is how I see it. But David Trebell,
Good to see what came
Treball.
back.
What came back?
Yeah, I'm not an axe murderer or anything.
Okay. Treball. Key renter, North Dallas. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, if you're ready. You ready?
Let's rock.
All right, cool. Welcome back to Technologies Now, and this is the Business Edge. And today we have David Trebell, Key Renter, North Dallas is his company. Um, they have their position. Excuse me, I'm going to cut that out a little bit. Actually, I'm going to start over. I didn't like that at all. Welcome back to Technologies Now, the Business Edge. This is David Urbach, and I'm meeting today with David Trebell. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cut that out too. Treball, of Key Renter North Dallas. And Key Renter's position is a full service residential property management company in obviously North Dallas, offering marketing, tenant screening, maintenance, rent collection, everything you expect with a full service property management company. And I'm just going to turn it over to you, David. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you got started in property management?
You bet. So, David Treble, I've been was in a career for many, many years. About 30 years after that, I retired and I said, I'm not ready to hang it up. So I was looking to do something different and ended up buying this franchise. I'd always had a couple of rent homes, and then I decided I wanted to maybe do something in that space. I wanted to get my real estate license, and at the age of 55, I went back, got my real estate license, and opened a property management business, mainly because property management, everybody thought I was crazy. But I didn't like the highs and lows of real estate. And, you were only winning when you were closing deals. And property management, at least, is consistent, and you still have the opportunity to do the transaction.
That's interesting. I recently had a guest that was a broker who had, property management as part of what he did, and he actually appreciated the property management side of it more than the brokerage side. Um, he didn't say because it was up and down necessarily, but he felt like he was really in real estate when he was in property management, and when he's selling a house or whatever it is, it's more of just a transaction. There's a lot more to it than that. But he felt like he was really serving in real estate when he felt like he was part of it. So I thought that was a really interesting perspective. What do you think about that?
Oh, I completely agree. See, it's one thing to be a property manager and just, do the transactions with the collecting rents and do that. But if you're really going to get into it and do it well, you're going to investigate heavier, in that neighborhood, the property, what's going on. You're going to be more of an investment advisor, real estate investment advisor, than just doing the transaction from a regular buy or sell and making the negotiation.
So what's going on in the North Dallas market? Yeah, Austin 624. Mr. Treble, are you coming back into the show? Well, David, I hope you know you're not being recorded right now, is all I can say. All right, let me find your number and give you a ring. All right, let me find your. I don't think you're on my phone yet. Here we go.
Okay.
I see you showing up.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me?
Welcome back, David.
We're still uploading, but let me make.
The upload was pretty fast earlier for you. I can see it too.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can't hear you. Speaker. All right. How about now?
Yep, I can still hear you. I could hear you the whole time. I'm going to keep talking so you know that we're connected.
Now I got you.
You got me? All right. You are back as well. I think we talked about the the North Dallas market, excuse me.
Yes. So, and I was talking about how, real estate sales and rentals go together. It is in residential. So if prices are high, the rentals are going to be priced higher, et cetera, and conversely the other side. But it was interesting. There was a deal that came out not too long ago, and it talked about the rental decreases and price decreases between Dallas County and Collin County. And if you're familiar with the DFW area, Collin County is on the northern side of Dallas, and Dallas obviously in the middle. So there was a 3% decrease in home sales pricing in Dallas County and almost a 10% in Collin County. And I think that's because of the huge boom that's going on between the whole Frisco, McKinney, Little Elm, all that area up there, all the way up to Sherman. You used to have to pack a sack lunch to go from Dallas to Sherman, and now it's just like a walk in the park.
Interesting. So the change in the market is directly affecting obviously the rental income, is what you're saying. So you're saying, just to make sure I have this right, so the market prices are going down in just residential real estate, and that directly correlates to the property management or rental prices, I should say.
That's correct. And it's just another data point. Out of all the renewals I've had this year, I would be willing to bet I've never gone up on, I may have gone up on one, but 99%, I tell everybody stay the same. That's a win, because if we have to put it back on the market, we're going to have to drop it.
Yeah, and it's a win for a tenant in general to think that their rent's not going up, I would think. Wouldn't
Absolutely.
you? Yeah, right. So it's a win-win for everybody, just to keep them in the house, keep them in the property, and keep collecting. Don't lose that month. Or I mean, how long does it take to get a property rented again?
It's a great question that nobody thinks about. The longer, if you lose 1 or 2 months of rent at $2,000 and you're negotiating over $100 and you put your pick in the ground, it's going to take you a long time to come up with that $2,000 just for $100. You know,
Yeah, I mean the vacancy just kills you. I mean,
at
I've
least, yeah, at least 20 months. So, go ahead and drop it if you had to. I did that the other day. Tenant wanted to move out, a little too expensive. I said, "What's it going to take?" He told me, and I said, "That's cheaper than us re-renting it and losing it for a month." And I guarantee right now, days on market is at least 60 to 90.
yeah, and then all the other work that has to happen, right? You go back through the house, inspect it, and maybe paint and carpet, whatever's been going on, depends on how long the tenant's been there. Um, plus if they were paying on time or paying every month, there's something to be said for that compared to you don't know what you're going to get in the next round. I don't want to talk about your business, but that's how I would see it.
No,
Yeah.
you're on it, man. It's really it's a lot of common sense, but when somebody's used to cash flowing and things like that, I say, please remember, you've got appreciation. You're going to have ups and downs, but at the end of the day, somebody's paying your mortgage. You're getting an asset almost free, and there's tax write-offs.
Yes.
I don't know.
Someone's paying. I love it. Someone's paying your mortgage. Keep somebody in the property. They're going to keep paying your mortgage, and yes, you get your depreciation and all your others, you benefits that you have. I'll just say right now, I'm not a tax advisor or financial planner, so don't
Correct.
listen to me. But still,
Me either.
we all know it's
Me either.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So tell us, give us an interesting story, a great success story that you've had in your work, and maybe your most challenging client. Maybe contrast those two. It'd be very interesting to hear that.
Ooh, greatest, the challengings are the ones I really have. First of all, understand something about this. In this property management business, our real goal, if you're really doing a good job for your client, is you're keeping their risk level low. They know that everything has been being done with processes, and you're accountable. And we have basically, if you've got 100 properties, you have 200 bosses because the tenants think you're their boss and the owners think you're their boss. And you'd like to think you have a say in this as well. But the interesting thing is, you can't make everybody happy, and somebody's always going to be mad. So I say a lot of times, if you don't get a bad review, you're not doing your job. And people these days will pull a review for any kind of reasons and whatever. But you know, the success is getting an investor, helping them find a good property that they're comfortable with, and having the tools to let them play around with numbers and cap rates and all this kind of stuff, and letting them play with it, and then coming back, you lock in a deal, you go get it, and the next thing you know, they call you in 60 days, and man, they're like, Dave, I need another property. We did great, so let's go
Nice.
get it again. And so those are the things that really make you feel better. It's success is it's a lot more than just growing your business, I think. You know,
Yes. So what? How would you define success?
I would define success from a standpoint of, are you comfortable with how the situation turned out? Did you do the things that you felt like you needed to do and you felt were the right things to do? A lot of times I would interview people and I'd say, "Hey, man, um, are you a leader or a manager?" Because there's a huge difference. A manager does it just like the book. And so they call that, you do what's right. A leader does the right thing. And I may be getting off topic here, but I think at the end of the day, if you feel like you've done the right thing and you feel good and you can go to sleep, that's success. And success isn't measured by how much money. It's measured as simple as, I just trained my dog today, and boy, did he or she respond really well. That's success, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. I
So
know
anyway,
that's it's not off topic. Anything can be a topic. It's fine. We're
okay.
free flowing this piece of it. But I'm going to bring us back to property management for a second here. When someone's coming to you, it sounds like you will help them acquire a property, or they may have a property that needs management. You can handle both of those things. When someone comes to you from property management perspective, is there like a checklist of things that you go through to say, hey, let's make sure this is a good fit. This is what's important to me, or this is what you need to prepare for. How do you handle those first transactions or the first interactions to determine if you can work together?
Absolutely. So what we like to do is say, hey, thanks for reaching out. Love to talk to you about property management and how we do it and how we're different. We like to book a 30-minute discovery call. And the discovery call is for them to get to know me and me to get to know them. And it is a two-way street. And, when you look at how a good fit is somebody that you can communicate and work with and understand that there's a word called co-managing. And, you really want to have the connection with that investor, that they trust you And it may take a little bit, but you want to have that connection where they don't feel like they have to look over your shoulder. And if you feel like you need to be micromanaged, they feel like they need to micromanage you, it's really not a fit for either one because they deserve to have that labor taken off of them and do their normal job. And we deserve to have the ability to do ours. You know, and the state of Texas has done some really good things to make sure that we're regulated. We have to be real estate agents. There are a lot of things, and so the key is to talk to the person about what their real goals are. We have the accidental landlords that are just like, oh my goodness, my parents passed away, or went somewhere, and I got this house, and I don't really know anything about property management, so help me.
Mhm,
And
right.
you know, if I always tell everybody, hey, a couple of things. If even if you don't go with me, make darn sure your insurance policy is not uh, owner occupied. Make sure it is investor or landlord. And the other thing is, make sure that you realize you're going to lose your homestead exemption in Texas anyway. So, you know, we just try to prepare people for what to think about, and through that discussion, you determine whether you've got somebody that you can work with or not, and they do the same. And like I tell them, I got a 30-day out clause, and just give me a chance. If something's wrong, and it may be a blind side, I'm not perfect. Give me 30 days notice, or tell me I'm doing something wrong, and if I can cure it, boy, I sure will, and I apologize. But if we just can't work it out, great. 30-day, no harm, no foul. I don't want to I don't want a problem with you. Whatever. And I said, conversely, if I win the lottery, you got to play to win. But if I win the lottery, I'll see you in Tahiti.
Yes, yes. You're on your own, or actually, you'll hand it off to somebody else, I'm sure, but still.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Tahiti, huh? Tahiti sounds pretty good.
Wherever. Bora
Right,
Bora,
right.
maybe.
I know. I get your point, David. Absolutely. Although it'd be hard to trade. Even I'm in Denver. We're having a sunny day and it's 70 degrees out. It's like one of those perfect days.
You
It's
guys,
just
I love
really
it.
nice.
God's
Yes.
country.
Oh yeah. It's definitely nice up here, and I've had a really mild winter too, which is not great for skiing. But this isn't about me, so what can we do? Not much snow. Not much snow. We need our snow still, and it's
Good
gonna
real
be
estate.
80 later this week, so it's completely wacky this year. But anyway, yes, it's a nice place to be. But back to you, David. Are you from Texas? Are you from North Dallas, or where are you originally from?
So I was born in Illinois, Peoria, Illinois. Moved to Dallas when I was 5, and been here really ever since. So I know everything about almost everything about Dallas Fort Worth and how it's grown.
Oh my gosh, yeah, incredible story there. Uh, Ironically or not, do you know where Quincy, Illinois is?
Yeah,
Okay, the guy I was just talking to is in Quincy, Illinois. He's a broker there, doing quite well, in fact. But we were talking about other markets and these sorts of things. He was talking about going south, or anyway, it doesn't matter. It was just interesting. He's from Illinois, and it's 70 degrees and sunny there right now as well. So there's our little connection. Just by chance, it happened that way.
speaking of
David,
something, you just brought up something that I think is going to be interesting. It was very interesting to me. I've been in the business for about 8 years, and about 4 or 5 years ago, I really started getting a lot of phone calls from California investors. Hey, David, my name's so and so. I got some properties out here in California. I'm looking to invest in Dallas, Fort Worth, blah, blah, blah. It happens so often. I finally asked an investor that I had out there. I said, "Hey, what's going on in the world of communications out there, where everybody's calling me from California?" And he said, "David, here's the thing. Right now, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Dallas, Fort Worth, and really all of Texas is where California was in 1975." I was like, "Oh my goodness, there it is." There it is. So we'll
so
see.
it's interesting. What is the average home price out there right now, like a single family home,
If
approximately?
you're it depends upon which county you're in, but, and I know more about
Naturally.
Collin County than I do Dallas, but I would say the average home price in Collin County is north of four, maybe 390 to 420, somewhere in there. That and that would be a larger three bedroom, or a four smaller four bedroom. It's astounding.
It's really interesting. That's about where I think our market's a little bit higher than that right now. I'd say you're paying probably almost 500 to 600 for that here, but California is you're double that easily. A big house, I mean, you go get a 3,000, 4,000 square foot home. I mean, you're in the millions pretty quickly. It's really interesting. So if that's the case, I might need to look in your market. That's really fascinating to me. Not a bad place to visit either when it's the right season.
Correct. We have very warm, very hot, and very cold to us. May not be cold to you, but very cold to us. We don't have a fall and a spring.
No, no. So when's a good time to visit the Dallas area?
I would say anytime, from March until May. Um, June you can still do. I'd stay away July through September and October.
Just gets a little hot. So good unless you're on the water somewhere.
Yes,
Yes. So
yeah,
that would be the key.
for sure.
Interesting. So what advice would you give to a new what's the first piece of advice you give to a new landlord that shows up or is looking at your market? Maybe they're not experienced, and what should they be looking at?
From a home perspective or just from an attitude perspective?
Oh my gosh, we need both. We need both here. Certainly an attitude. Maybe start there.
So I would approach it as, listen, you can absolutely be if you have one property, you can be your own property manager. And just remember, you're going to have to know all the laws and make sure that you do things correctly, because we do have tenant laws here and property code laws that we have to stand up to. And just be, so you're welcome to do that. However, we have a job and we have, value, because we take that off of your hands. Understand tenant selection is one of the most, if not the most important thing you do. I tell everybody, listen, it's a four-legged stool. You're very important, Mr. Client, Mr. Client. The home is very important. I would think I'd like to think I'm important, but the tenant can make all of our lives miserable. So
Yes.
let's make sure that we try to get within fair housing, all that. But let's just make sure that we get the right person in there and we don't try to skimp because we just want to fill that position. So approach it that way, and approach it just like you do when you have your own home. Things break in your own home, whether you're in it or whether I'm in it or whether a tenant is in it. And so expect that, have some money put back so that you can repair things as they go along. And you want to take this deferred maintenance and don't ever get into that situation, because then when you get into a tenant turn, you've got so much expense in that deal. If you just could have done it along the way, you can have it really well taken care of, and it won't take us long at all to get it back on the market, because that's when you're making money. And yes, cash flow is wonderful. I love it if you've got a low interest rate and you can still cash flow in these times. But listen, back to my comment a while back. Remember, someone is paying your mortgage. Everything you put into that, depending on your tax situation, but most of what you put in that, including my fees, are deductible off of your earnings. So what the heck, and treat it like a business. Treat it like a business.
Right. That makes
Do
sense.
not
It's about the numbers,
do
not
not
about the
get
emotion.
emotional.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. That was what I was waiting for. You can't be emotional about it. It has to be a business decision. You got to be rational and think numbers, right? And make good decisions. Not rash decisions on tenants.
Tenant decision, and fix things. You don't have to fix it with gold. You don't have to fix it. the worst way, fix it somewhere in the middle where it's good and it's going to last a while. It doesn't have to be flashy. It's just got to be good.
Right.
Think about it that way.
So what is someone needing reserves to have a $400,000 house that they're renting?
Yeah. So if we got a, let's say we got a $2,800 rent, I think you need to have about 2 months in reserve, and that just sits there, and if we need it, great. If we don't, put it in an interest bearing account and make a little bit of cash off of it. But that's what you really need. They say 2 to 3 months, somewhere in there.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That's good advice. So what's the most rewarding part of your work that you do, David?
It's really interacting with the tenants when they get in there and they're really, really happy with the property. And I had a little girl come up and I almost cried. We
Yeah.
had a really quick move because it was a bad situation at their other place, and it was a mom and three children. And this little girl came up to me and hugged my leg, and she was like, "Thank you so much. I love you." I mean, come on, man. How do you. But really, it's. Listen, I love the tenants. I respect the tenants. I treat them with respect. I tell them, hey, bring me your maintenance request. You're not going to get in trouble because a little problem can be so quickly repaired inexpensively. And if it just sits there and gets big, it's really a pain. So, hey, man, it's okay. I have to repair my house, all the time. It's okay. So, that's the deal. But the most rewarding is putting people into their homes and allowing them to be very, very happy there.
Yeah, little girl hugging your leg, saying they love you. That is fantastic.
Man, I just wanted to cry.
I'm gonna cry just thinking about it now.
And
And I
it
was
was
even
nine
there.
o'clock. And it was 9 o'clock at night, and we had been just busting our tail to get this house ready so that they could get in there and get out of their current situation. And so, yeah, that made it even better.
Yes, you were solving a problem for somebody or helping everybody come together and solve a problem. So I think that's
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So, David, about you, what do you do when you're not, well, you're always in property management. That's the nature of it. But what do you do for fun outside of that?
I love to golf. I am pretty active in my church. I love college football. Um,
Who's your team?
yeah. You
Oh,
know what?
where are we
Any
going?
Anybody in the SEC. I just love SEC football. I don't know what it is. I think it's the talent, and I think it's the history behind it. And I know anybody that lives up in the north has the Big Ten or whatever, but I just love the SEC.
Nice. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even cue that up, but guess where I went to school for my undergrad?
Where
Indiana University.
you guys gotta be loving your stuff right now.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Never even thought it was even possible. It's never been a focus. So just it's a brand new world, and we'll see if we can sustain it. But it's a beautiful thing.
Hey man, you got that, and it was undefeated. And dude, I mean, even if you don't ever do it again, you got that one.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna hold on to that one as long as we can, just in our minds, and hopefully we have some good competitive seasons from here on out. But yeah,
I'm sure you
yeah,
will.
exciting. So yeah, Big Ten football is definitely a thing up here. So cool. Awesome. Well, I think we're going to wrap up from here. But David, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate your insights you provided on your work and property management and advice you give to people that are getting started and kind of the direction they go there. And then thanks to everyone else who's joined us today on Technologies Now, the Business Edge. It was a great conversation, great insights, and we appreciate you being here.
Awesome.
And then hang on a second. I'll cut it from here. But um, so cool. That was good, David. Thank you. So see, you didn't have to prepare at all. I usually just have these things set up and we just go with it because that is how we talk about your business and you and that sort of thing.
Well,
And I don't know if you do much social media, but I'll give you access to all the little clips and things that we have in here if you decide you want to use it. But I mean, we certainly will put on our YouTube channel and, on LinkedIn and that sort of thing as well. So that's kind of our next steps.
so complete disclosure, I've never done that before, number one. Number two, I've done about two social media things. I know I need to. And, you know, sometimes I just will go on a 10-minute or a 5-minute, gosh, I need to tell people they need to do this and this and this. And I
Right.
thought, go ahead and tape myself and just put it on my website.
Absolutely. You can take any of this that we'll have, and this will end up being, I'll have the main podcast. So again, we'll trim this up. And then the software that we're in, this Riverside software that we're using, will automatically create shorter clips that are good for like YouTube Shorts or your website, um,
Nice.
LinkedIn. You can basically put these any place. So you'll have full access to them. They'll be set up for you. Is kind of how that will work. And um, anyway, if you still have a minute, can I ask you a few questions about your business and kind of how you bring in new tenants and this sort of thing?
Yeah. So when you look at tenants, I think are you talking about attracting tenants or are you talking
Well,
about?
I guess the other sides of your business. Where do you find new property owners, new customers?
Mhm.
I guess I'm thinking more new customers than tenants themselves, but that's certainly part of. I'm just curious.
Yeah. So obviously, real estate agents are good people to saddle up with. And in the MLS organizations, you can search for people that, special agents that specialize in like 1 to 4s, being, duplexes, singles, whatever. So I can filter there and I kind of, shoot notes. And it's kind of iffy. But I also just invested in a product called Bright Investor. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Bright Investor is a product that has so I can you can mine a bunch of data across different websites, right? What I found Bright Investor does is allow me the ability to search on a geography and say, show me all the investors, which would be out mostly a lot of out of state owners that have 3 properties or above or more in this particular geography at this particular price point and this particular age. And then it pulls it up and it tells me, okay, in one of these properties, all the data about it, what's in the mortgage, what the owner owes, and then I can skip trace and I can actually get their email and their telephone number. I don't ever call them, but at the end of the day, it gives me
Mhm.
access to people that have properties that I really want. And here's the thing: I've been in it long enough to know I'm not good as a slumlord. I'm good with higher end, newer properties. Nothing's wrong with older properties, and they can rent very well, but they are maintenance intensive. And so once you figure out your niche, this allows you to just dive into that particular niche, and then it tells you that, oh, that property's also linked to, or that owner's also linked to 13 other properties, and you're like, oh, cool,
Gold.
click,
Yes.
and here they are.
All right.
So that's what I'm doing. A lot of word of mouth as well.
Okay. Excellent. And the reason I'm asking is we are a technology company. I do these podcasts for promotion, but then to get introductions and see if there's any value I can add to their business. And that's kind of what I was getting at because we do most of the work that we do. We do a lot of automation, certainly, but AI based client acquisition is really our specialty. So think if you want more of a certain landlord or whatever it is, and you can define them, you know exactly what you're after. So your ideal customer profile, if you know what that is, we can typically find it. And we do a lot of cold email outreach, which quite frankly is how I found you. So an AI SDR booked the whole meeting and did the whole thing. I turned down meetings I don't want to take like early, but it books for me like that, like literally last week I had, that was the week before, I had 11 meetings booked for me, which was too many because I have already a lot going on, but it booked 11 meetings until I stopped it. And I didn't have to do anything other than we have the system set up and the real professionals do this sort of thing. So that is our business. And my place here is not to pitch you. Actually, it's just to see if there's a fit. If you are interested, we can go through a discovery. Not right now. We'll just set up a brief time, and we can talk through your business, and then I can give it to my developers, and they'll come back and say, "Hey, based on what he has here, here's some ideas." So I don't know, David. You tell me if you think that's a fit, or if it's not. Either way, it doesn't break my heart.
It might be because, quite frankly, right now, I'm mining all this data and making all those phone calls or emails or whatever. And it's certainly something I would like to, I'd like to talk to you more about.
Okay, we can do that. Well, a perfect way to do this is we'll set up a time. We'll grab a half an hour, and we can do it. I mean, we can do it this week. I'm trying to keep my every other days open when possible. It's really hard sometimes. Um, and I'll come back with, or actually, I'll ask you questions. I'll come back with all our podcasts. Will be edited, so I'll have this all edited for us, and then I'll give you a link to it. So then you have no excuse not to put something on your website, at least to get that started.
All
We
right.
can start with that part of it, and then we can talk through, more specifics on your goals and how many people you have in your database now, and kind of give you ideas on directions. And then again, I'll get some details from my developer folks, and they'll come back to me pretty quick with, "Hey, here's some ideas for David. Let's see what he's interested in and see if it makes sense." So if you want to do that,
Okay.
let's just grab something on the calendar. Do you know your calendar?
I got it right here.
I'm pretty booked this week, other than Friday. How does your Friday afternoon look? Is that a good time or a bad time in general?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. Okay, cool. Let's see, we booked this we're on at 3. I can actually do the same time as this meeting. No, actually a half hour later. So it's pushing 5 there right now, right? You're in Central. So can we do 4:30 on, if we can do 4:30 on Friday, I can just book that right now.
Yeah, 4:30. Yeah, that should work.
Is that too late?
No, I think it's fine because no, yeah, that's fine.
All right, David, I'll do this. I'll just send over another invite, and it'll just be a Zoom link. We don't need to get onto the Riverside software, but then we'll have the Riverside stuff ready for you, and then we'll go through a quick conversation, and I'll ask you questions about your business, some more detail on that, and I'll come back with some ideas for you. Cool.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Awesome. Well, this is fun. I appreciate this. This will have come out well. You articulated very well, I think, what you do, and I thought that was a lot of fun.
I hope so.
Yeah. So
I know, I
you
know
already
what
know
I
your
mean.
trade. You have your business. You're comfortable in your own skin. So I think that was good. So cool.
All right.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you on Friday. Thank you, David. Bye bye.